Okay, and I would like to show us a demo of the E-ADR16 software, which is actually designed and developed for the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency for their monthly statistical record analysis and um, reports creation. So we, from the very interface of the software at the landing page, we have the user guides in which can actually help guide every user of this software, either a new being or the users who are actually common to which have been using the software so far. So the very first thing we are going to do now is we're going to start a new monthly record. As we can see from here, we have different monthly statistical record which has been created to test this very software, but we're not going to work with any of this due to this very tutorial purpose. So we are creating a new monthly record. Let's say we are creating a monthly record for the month of okay, let's say April, and here we can click on this very text box to input our year. We are in the year 2023, so we are creating a new record for April 2023. So we click on OK. So now we can just click on this. Now by clicking on the OK, we discover that the new record has been created so far. So we click on it, then we can now click on done. Now we have different navigation buttons in which we can use to navigate to the functions in this E-ADR16. First, we check the reports button. As we can see, for the month of April 2023, there isn't any record so far. And checking the graphical section, there isn't any record so far. So let's try to bring in details and records to this very report. So we click on acquisition button. As we can see, we have different tools on this interface to actually guide us on what to do. So we have the dates we are inputting for, and let's say we are starting from the very first day of the month, and here we have the list of aircrafts which has been registered so far in this very software. So let's assume we are bringing in aircraft. So let's say the very first aircraft for the very first day of April is overland, the overland aircrafts. So we can click on overland aircraft. Then we select the type of aircraft. Let's say it is Alpha Tango Romeo, let's say 42. Okay, so let's have the registration number to be 5 November Bravo 5 November Bravo Delta Golf, and we have the call sign of this very aircraft at arrival. As we can see, we have the arrival section in yellow color, which actually signifies the normal NAMA strip for taking the arrival details of an aircraft. Then we have the blue section, which is for departure, with the same record, which is actually being used on the strip. So let's continue inputting the call sign at arrival. So let's say we have Oscar Lima Alpha let's say 1108. So let's say overland 1108 at arrival. We have just only 3 crew, and at departure we have, let's say we have 16 passengers at arrival. Sorry. Then from which aerodrome is this overland coming? So we can have let's say we have Delta November Mike, which is from Lagos, and the actual time of arrival, let's say we have it at, okay, let's say very early in the morning at 600 time in the morning, and we have why the aircraft was actually leaving, which is overland. It's left with the call sign overland 117, let's say 1178, and with total number of crew, let's say the same number of crew, and we have the passengers, it's left with, let's say 70, 2 passengers, and the destination is just, let's say it's going to Abuja, and the actual time of departure, let's say they departed around 6:12 of the day. So we can click on submit all to actually submit both the arrival details and the departure details. As we can see, we have the arrival detail to be this. At the time of arrival, we have 16 passengers at 600 hour of the day from Delta November Mike, and at the departure we have 72 passengers at 6:12 hour of the day going to Delta November Alpha. So now we have okay, let's say we have another aircraft which is let's say Peacebed is very old. It's also very common in our in Delta November and India Lehman. So let's say we have this very Peacebed to have an aircraft type of let's say Echo 145, and we have the registration number to be 5 November Delta Alpha Golf. Okay, so let's say the Peacebed call sign at arrival is Alpha Papa Kilo okay, let's give it 110, and the total number of crew, let's say we have 2 crew, and we have the passenger at arrival, we have 2, and the source aerodrome, let's say it is actually coming from Delta November India Bravo, which is Ibadan, and we have actual time of arrival to be, let's say, not very long. Okay, let's say we have it at 6:10. Let's say we have it at 6:10, and okay, now if we have these very details at arrival, but probably the aircraft is yet to leave, so in that case it means we have arrival without departure. So clicking on submitting all, the software will automatically deny us submitting this very entry because we have some empty columns. So can we see it said please verify your inputs and attempts to the omitted columns. So it means the departure are yet to be filled. So in that case, what we're going to do is we submit only the arrival section by using the submit button under the arrival section. So by clicking on this, we have the, so here we are still under the departure table. So coming to arrival table, can we see now we have the Peacebed. So we have the details here at under the arrival section. Now, so the question is, what if we have the departure? Now, how can we input that? So that is very simple. We can just come here, we say Peacebed, then we bring in the same details of that very aircraft, which is Echo 145, and we have 5 November Delta Alpha Golf. So this time around, we're not going to fill in the arrival section because already we have the arrival section submitted. In that case, we go straight to the departure section, and we have the call sign. Let's say we have Alpha Papa Kilo 178 at call sign for departure. So we have the total number of crew, let's say we have 2, and the total number of passenger which actually left with it, let's say we have 14, and it's actually moving, let's say it's going back to, let's say it's going to Abuja, and at around what time does he actually left? So we have 16, let's say 20 time of arrival, time of departure. So clicking on submit all, we actually deny or submitting this very entry. So in that case, we need to make use of the submit button under the departure section. So that's how it has been developed so far. So we click on here, and from the departure column table, we can have the detail of the departure. So we have arrival and we have departure. So a very question now is that what if we don't have the name of the aircraft we need to bring in in this very place. What if we don't even have it? So how are we going to go about that? So that is actually very simple. The software has been developed in a way to undo that. We click on back, so we can click on the updates operator. So actually we have a password here. So now, having the password correctly, we will be given an option to add new operator's name. So let's say we are adding a new operator. Okay, let's use Nama aircraft. So we have Nama aircraft. Now we need to specify if this very aircraft which has been imputed here is a military or training aircraft. So in case it is, what we're going to do is we click on this very button to check it, to indicate that okay, this very aircraft is a military or training aircraft. And the moment we click on done, we will have the aircraft submitted in both the military section and as well as the flight section. So but now we are not taking it as military aircraft, so we have to uncheck that. Now we click on done. So we have the aircraft's name submitted successfully. So coming back here, we should be able to see our new aircraft, which is Nama aircraft. As we can see, Nama aircraft. So we can bring in details of flight for it. So let's say the detail of the Nama aircraft. Let's say Nama is using E-ADR16 with 5 November Bravo November with 5 November Bravo November okay, Alpha. So at call sign we have Nama, sorry, and total number of crew. Let's say we have 2 crew, and we have passenger to be 0. We have departing from Alpha. Actual time of arrival, let's say we have it at 700 hours, sorry, 700 hours of the day. And we have the call sign at departure. Let's say we have the call sign at departure. We have it. Okay, let's say we have it at the same number. Sorry, and we have the total number of crew. Let's say this very aircraft came to pick an additional crew, which is this, and no passenger. So we have flying to let's say to Mike this time around. And the actual time of departure, let's say we have it to be 7:10 section. So we have both the arrival and the departure details entered correctly, so we can click on submit all. But now we have an error saying passenger number is invalid. So it means that we have one of the passengers number, the columns where we are meant to enter our passenger number, we have one of them having an invalid character. So in that case, it is this very hyphen, because hyphen is not a number. So during our monthly statistical record calculation, this will actually throws an error because it is not a number. It is preferred to be in 0 than hyphen. So in that case, clicking on submitting all, we have them submitted. So we have under the arrival, we have this arriving at 700 hours of the day with 2 crew. Then we have departure at 710 hours of the day with 3 crews. So that's what we have. And in case we have an issue with our entries and we like to bring in a new row after this number 2, so what we're going to have, okay, let's say we have to bring it down here. What we're just going to have is this. We will just click on new row. So in that case, we will have this very row to input things to. So we can just input things to it, and from here we can as well come in and say bring in a new row. So that's it. But since we are not dealing with this, I will have to click on delete. We don't need that we click on delete this, and we click on delete this. So in that case, we will need to update the file after editing. So now we have different aircraft details inputted into this very software. Here we've been shown how the acquisition section works. So let's go back to the report section. We have this, and from all reports we can see now we have three different reports, three different aircraft. So we have the military section. Oh, for this very month of April 2023, we are yet to have any military aircraft. So let's quickly address that. Let's pick one of the military aircrafts. Let's say we have Nigeria. Okay, we have that of Nigerian Air Force. So let's say they use Alpha Tango Romeo 72. I don't know. That should be a software. I mean, an aircraft type like that. So we have the registration number to be 5 November Bravo. Okay, let's say 5 November November Alpha Foxtrot for the aircraft, and we can have the call sign to be November Alpha Foxtrot, and we have total number of crew. Let's say we have 5 crews, and passenger, let's leave it to 0, and we have departure station. Let's say it actually came from Lagos, and arriving at, let's say, 8:02 hour of the day, and we have the departure sign to be this again, crew to be 5, let's say same 5, and we have coming to pick probably some personnel, let's say 3 personnel, and we have flight destination going back to Delta November Mind Mark, and let's say it departed around let's say 11. So we can have this clicked. So we have departure and this, and let's quickly bring in a new aircraft, which is let's say let's add up with overland, because overland is very common here and they fly in most days. Let's say we have E1 2. Okay, let's have it that way. We have 5 November Bravo Foxtrot Golf. Let's say overland 1180. Sorry, let's have it to be 1180, and we have crew number to be, let's say we have 3, and passenger, let's say we have 15. Departing from Lagos to at around what time? Let's give it let's say 900 hour of the day, and we have overland 1180 X-ray, and so let's say it departed with 47 passengers and going to Abuja, so around 9:50 hour of the day. So we click on this, so it means we can bring in details of aircrafts the way they come. So now let's go back to our report section. We should have something now. So as we can see, we have the military aircraft, the one we just added. We have one move so far for that very month. We have the acquisition section, just like the way it has been inputted, and as we see, this very software is capable of matching the arrival details of that very aircraft to the is very capable of matching both the arrival and departure detail of the aircraft together. So the local training, we are yet to bring in any local training aircraft, so let's try to let's check this. So we have, for the very first day of the month of April, we have just one piece bed so far. So we have number of arrival. So we can just adjust this. The number of arrival, we have one. Number of departure, we have Nigerian um, Air Force, one arrival and one departure. Normal aircraft, one arrival and one departure. Overland, we have two arrival and two departure so far. So we have the summary of all for the month. And okay, we want to address this very local training section. Let's go back, then we click on local training section button, and let's say for the months we have the very first day to be let's say Indian Air Force Charlie, which is Ilorin Aviation College, and we have the aircraft type to be, let's say they make use of Echo 140, and we have the registration number to be 5 November Bravo November Juliet. People on board, so we have one with endurance of 5 hours, and departing at 900 hours of the day and coming back at, let's say it spent 20 minutes. Okay, sorry. So these are the details we need as far as this software is concerned, and we click on submit. So as we can see, we have on this very day the India Alpha Charlie aircraft with these very details. And this, as we can see, by inputting the departure and arrival time, the software is capable of auto calculating the flight hour by itself. So as we can see, these very aircrafts are left around 900 hours of the day, coming back around 920 hours of the day. So it means the aircraft has spent 20 minutes on the air. So we have the same functions for this, which is the new role and the deletes, including the updates. So now let's go on to check our reports once again. So we can have local training. Yeah, so we have local training so far. So we have other functionality of this very software, which is actually to print our reports at the end of the month. So we can make use of the print buttons. As we can see, we have different print buttons at each column. So let's print this very acquisition section. We have prints. So as we can see, we can select any of the printers we have available here, but for the purpose of this tutorial video, I will be printing to PDF so that we can see the outputs after that. Okay, we are printing the acquisition. We can just change the orientation of the paper to landscape. Then we click on print to PDF, and so we are printing to the desktop anyways. Let's say April 2023 acquisition. Let's leave it that way. We click on save. So one page printed. So we minimize this, and from on our desktop we click on it this way. So as we can see, we have the reports printed already. So let's try to zoom it out. So the paper now will be printed in landscape. As we can see, it is in landscape format. So let's try to look at let's try to look at printing this also, the aircraft and passenger move. So we have the same thing to be done. So at this stage, I'm not going to change the orientation. I will leave it at portrait because we didn't have a wider this thing. So we click on print. So we can just say that the same thing, but we are having passenger, let's say move. Sorry. So on the same desktop. So here we have it. Let's open. So as we can see now, we have this, and sorry. So now, in case we need to generate our reports in Excel sheets, so what are we going to do? We have a button already which has just been included into this very software, which is E-ADR16, and that is going to help us generate the Excel sheet format of these very reports to the desktop. So by clicking on it now, we have the Excel sheet, which is April 2023. So opening it, we'll have the statistical report of all. Sorry, that's my system. Okay, so we have the very first page, the very first sheet containing the details of the aircraft we have so far. Then the military section, as we can see, we have just only one aircraft at the military section, and we have the local training section. As we can see, we have the local training details, and we have the passenger moves just like this with the correct statistical calculation. So we have the summary section, which is also this here on the Excel sheet, which we can use at any time at the go. So here we have it, and now we have another additional. Okay, we have some buttons here. We can actually help us to increase the size of the of our text in case it is too small. Can we see? So we can just do that, and in case we need to check the move in graph. So as we can see, we have just 4 aircraft for this very month, and the 4th aircraft happens to be the one with the highest aircraft move, which is Overland. So coming back to our report, we have Overland. Okay, Overland is having 2 moves in total, and okay, every other ones are having just one move. So that's why we're having this. So we have the very first one here, second one here, third one here. Meanwhile, we have Overland to be the highest, to have the highest move. And what about in terms of passenger? So we can see that this very same Overland carries the highest passenger so far. Why the very first one, which is Peace Bed, yeah, number 1 here and number 1 here, which actually carries the next higher passengers move. So let's try to confirm that. So we have Peace Bed to have 16 passengers and Overland to have 150 passengers so far. Okay, let's try to make use of the one with full details from. Okay, let's make use of June 2021, since we have it entered. We have the complete data, sorry. So clicking on done, we have reports. Okay, so we can, as you can see now, we have the acquisition section here, and here are the details of aircraft. We have the military section, the local training section, we have the aircraft and passenger move, the summary section. So these are what we can definitely. Okay, let's say we are printing. Let's try to do the printing from here, then have something like this. So let's say we are saving it just like what we did the last time, June 2021. So let's say acquisition, let's call it ACQ. So it's keep printing. Okay, so we have that. Then we can just open from as PDF, and as we can see, we have the reports. Then we can as well print it in landscape. So because of our time, so that it won't just be too much, so let's try to look at the graph report. Okay, yeah, I think this one is representing the graph very well. So we have aircraft 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and aircraft 8 is giving us the highest move for aircraft movement. And in terms of passenger, okay, so we can still see that we have, I think we have one like that is having a kind of more comprehensive move, which is okay the month of October, according to what we have here. So exactly, so with this we can see how the graph section is actually working. So one more thing now is that if this very software is approved, we can have a button around here to actually move all our data to the cloud, in which I am very sure will help us in sending our monthly record to the NAMA headquarters on the very first day of each month. And with this, it will actually help NAMA a lot. At least when we talk about um, reduction of total aircraft move error in stations, at our different stations, and even in national level. Then in term of revenue accuracy calculations, it will also help us. Then as well as this very software can also help us to reduce the rate at which error do occur while performing our calculation, or this our monthly record and some other things. And the fact is that when we have these very informations on cloud, it will also help to improve research in this very field of aircraft. At least all these air and navigation research students and some other researchers can actually leverage on this aircraft data, which is actually pushed by this very software. And okay, so as we can see, we have the user guides, and a very good news there is that we also have a released manual which is actually explaining to us how to go about different things on this very software, and also as well as the different errors which can actually come up on this very software. So the manual has helped us address all these things, and we can actually say is a good to go. So thank you so much.